Are we 6 feet apart?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. COVID restriction, COVID safety. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 3 of C.C.C Radio, brought to you by one of your hosts, Ricardo Carranza.
And Jordan Coca.
Yeah,
What's up, man? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Just, living life. How you been?
Nah, kind of busy, but I'm good, man. Just like trying to figure this out, what we call life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
trust me.
Yeah.
You've been busy though lately with, your businesses and stuff.
Yeah, man. Honestly, took it this year. If anything, I took it seriously. Yeah. That's the biggest.
I guess to start, like, what is your business?
Now,
what is it you do?
So right now I'm in the business of manufacturing clothing. So like custom clothing for people, also for businesses. I'm trying to now push into like sports. I want to start making for sports teams. And then also like just my own clothing line that I kind of want, not necessarily just being like clothing made and fabricated by me, but like designs and then on people's shirts, right? So,
what like I've known you forever. We know this, like me and Coca, like since elementary school.
Young
but,
little
like,
boys running on the field.
What made you jump into, I guess, like clothing and stuff like that, design, fashion, like?
So I think fashion was like, I've always liked it, but I never knew how I could get in because I was never creative enough to like make someone like cut the sweater up and like make it look cool, right? That was never me, right? But I always liked the idea of like shirts, kind of stuff like that, the design. But realistically, it wasn't my idea, to be honest. It was actually a friend who like who just kind of gave me this crazy idea. He's like, let's start this clothing brand. Shout out my boy Kareem. He's the actual guy who came up with the idea of like, yo, this is like a streetwear we should do. Like, sold it to me and we ran with the idea.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's like your first business, right? From the burbs?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, we did that for a little bit. It was really, really good, right? Like good power through, and then kind of hit a wall, right? Like we were doing really well, and then we hit our plateau, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And
do we have any from the burbs shirts here?
Yeah, I think so.
Do we? Perfect.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to show it off.
Yeah, man. So like, as you can see, I
have a sweater too, man.
Yeah, bro. Thank you for all my friends who actually supported me. I really appreciate that. So this is how we started. It was pretty like, it was good, man. Like, it was good, but the thing with From the Burbs was like the meaning, right? It was never like, it's from the burbs. It's for more like people who are like small towns, right? From the suburbs, right? Everybody's from the six, right? Everybody wants to be from Toronto. I guess our highlight was we wanted to be like from the burbs. That's where we're from, right? Like, it's like for us, it's sick to be from the burbs. Other people like, I'm from the six. Well, everybody's got their own thing, right? So we tried to target that market, and it worked really well. And like, I still see the vision for it. Maybe I think now I've had to like regroup and kind of think, okay, what's the next big move for us? But it's not gone, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's still one of the companies you're currently obviously
operating. It's still like there. It's just not, I guess energy has shifted, right? As I said, like I'm taking things a lot more serious. I'm maybe not getting rid of that, but I'm focusing energy into something else that's gonna come back and benefit that.
Yeah, and I guess like your second business, We Print, you and Brandon.
Yeah.
Talk about that. Like so what even
got that one
going?
Honestly, it was kind of the issue with like From the Burbs, as we said. It kind of like it hit its plateau. It was like, what do we do now? It's like, okay, now no one's really buying sweaters. We still had some left, and we're like, okay, we got to kind of figure it out. Also, like at the same time, I feel like we weren't as organized. We weren't so structured. Yeah. So then when we were like, okay, what do we do next? So we said, let's start a like clothing business, but you make custom apparel, right? So like. We ended up buying a shirt press. We started there, got some vinyl, and just started making shirts for people, right? That was like our first thing, right? And then we noticed that money never really stopped, right? Because someone's always going to want a shirt, right?
Especially like personalized, like...
especially now more than ever, right? Like,
yeah.
For example, this stuff, right? Like, these are personalized. And, like, that's something we've been able to do ourselves, right? Yeah. And so it's kind of cool, right? Because you stay in the market the whole time. You're not limited. You're not frozen. And I think that was, like... where we felt with From the Burbs, we were stagnant. Yeah. And that's never where I feel like we wanted to be. It was always kind of evolving, keep moving. And like, I guess starting We Print was that idea, right? Yeah. If we're in the market at all times because somebody always needs something, then how are we going to not like survive, right?
Exactly. Because there's always going to be like, who told me this, man? My cousin, one of my cousins told me there's 3 jobs that there's always going to be forever. There's either you work at a funeral home because
people always die.
There's always someone dying. Right?
Okay, fair.
You're a barber because people always want to look good. Okay. Or like they're always gonna want to be
like a salon
treated.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or someone like in regards to like construction or buildings, because like buildings always have to be like fair. Done like that. And like someone said it to me, I'm like, oh wow, that's super interesting.
Well, that's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, it was just funny because like the way you said it, that like I guess some jobs you'll always need.
Yeah,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
right.
And it's definitely like personalized items, like what you're saying. People always want it. The kid is always gonna turn 1 or 2 or 3.
Exactly,
People
right.
are gonna have a anniversary, bridesmaid, a bunch of celebrations that are personalized to a group.
Events,
like that's perfect.
promotions, anything like that, right? And that's kind of like, I guess, where we kind of started segueing into, right? Like, we bought screen print, so now we can do like full shirts. Now, like, our next goal is to maybe get a giant printer where we can do flags and like more.
Yeah.
But like, my idea would be to like even have like, you know how people make those canvas flags, something like that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Embroidery machine's next on the list right now. It's like right on the way. It's just I haven't found the perfect one yet.
Yeah.
So
Sweet, bro. And then I don't know if you wanna drop what's in the
The
works.
news?
Let
The
that brew or what's
let's
going on
leave it for
there.
another episode.
Yeah.
You know what? There's
It's up to you,
something.
bud.
There's
Up to
it's
you,
coming.
bud.
It's coming, man. How about that? We'll just say there's something in the works.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be new. You know.
Yeah.
It'll be new.
I'm excited for that.
That's what we'll leave it at.
Yeah, we'll leave it like that.
It'll be new.
So yeah, bro. I guess let me just dive a little bit into more like personal questions.
All right.
So, how do you hold yourself accountable? Like, how does Jordan Coca make
Like
sure
every day?
that Jordan Coca gets stuff done? You know what I mean? Because I feel like being an entrepreneur and you obviously like, you know, having the businesses that you're running, you have to
100%.
You have to have that.
Well,
right?
orders, right? So honestly, what was really big in my like development and advancement, I'd say, was like I bought a whiteboard. Whiteboard was like this thing. Really, like I'd get anxiety walking by it because like I put tasks every day, right? This is what I have to do, and then I put a date to it. So then at that point, there's a deadline. You can't just walk away from something and like, oh, okay, it says like, you know how for example, some people will say like, oh, I'm gonna be jacked, right? Let's make it really simple, right? So I'm gonna be jacked, or I'm gonna make these gains, right? But they don't put a date to it. It's really hard for yourself to like, what's the word I'm saying? Kind of hold yourself accountable, but not like that. It would be, I guess you gotta measurements. That's literally what I was going for. Like, if you don't kind of put like a timeline on it, it's hard to get these measurements, right? Because like if you say, oh, I'm gonna make gains, right? Well, if you don't tell yourself by when, how do you know like how long it took you to do it, right?
For real.
So like for me, it was like that was one big thing, and then also like with structure within my groups. I've realized, so for example, I run a lot of meetings within my groups, right? And I'd keep these minutes and like stuff like that. And like for me, I've had to become accountable, right? Because if I don't do all this stuff, these people expect me to, right? So it's kind of like it's a symbiotic process, right?
Yeah.
You gotta help your partners and they help you out. And if you're not on top of your game, things start falling off, and like that's where accountability comes into that, right? You need to be able to stay on top of your game and just make sure like you get things done, right?
So it's kind of been a mix, I guess, of like your efforts, but then like the efforts, I guess, of like your social, like
100%,
your network,
100%.
Like you have to kind of have both, like working for the same goal, or else it's not gonna work out.
Exactly, right? It's kind of like if you got to meet people in the middle, right? And also if like you guys are both on the same mission, it's a lot easier to get there, right? So that's how I kind of do it.
Yeah.
What about you?
So honestly, same lines that you said. It's kind of for me sticking to a routine, kind of like a structure throughout like my day. And then on top of that, like measuring it, like you said, like I'm reading this one book called Measure What Matters.
Okay.
And it just talks about like how a lot of us get caught up in just goal setting.
Yep.
But no like actual steps for how to improve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it dives into like companies like Google, companies like Intel, companies like what was the other company you was talking about? Some other company in the States, anyways. But like it goes to show how like when you implement these small little organization structures in a company, how you can achieve so much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
So that's why I literally make myself little things like that, like as if I'm a company myself. It sounds kind of weird.
Yeah.
But like
you gotta
I
look
make
at
myself
it like
personal goals like that. Like by like a year, I want to try to do this, and then Q1 this, Q2, Q3,
and then,
like with my personal finances, like my business, you know, stuff like that. Because like I find like. And honestly, bro, I'm not organized. I'm not an organized guy.
No?
I won't lie, bro. I've been trying to be organized for the last 25 years,
like,
and I'm still not perfectly organized.
I can say I am, but I'm not. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In regards to investments, so I guess how old do you think you were when you first found out, I guess, about tax-free saving account or RSP?
Honestly, man, it took a while. 21, I would say.
Right?
Yeah, and I'm 26 now. So like, it's kind of a bad thing, right? Like, why didn't I know about it when I was 18? Why wasn't I, when I first got a job, I was like, this was pushed on me and told me, hey, save some money, put it in here. You can do something with it later. No, we weren't really taught. I lived off my credit, like, my credit card, I lived off it, and then after that, I ended up moving to just living from paycheck to paycheck because I was like, oh, doesn't matter, I'll get money next week. You don't have to save anything at that point, right? My mind wasn't really set like that.
Yeah.
But slowly as like I was like, oh, I kind of wanted bigger things. So, like, I want to save for a car, for example, or I wanted to save for repairs in the house, right? Little things like that, those became, like, bigger investments in my mind. And then slowly I was like, oh, I don't want a car so bad right now. What if I invest in, like, repairing the house?
And how did you first hear, I guess, about, like, a tax-free saving account, or, like, if you can even buy into stocks?
And I was working at TD.
Oh,
it took that long.
Yeah.
It took for me to get to
TD does that. It opens your eyes to a lot of things, actually.
Well, a lot of us are like, how many in the group are from TD right now? 5 of us, I think.
Or
used to work there, right? So, like, and now we're, like, we can say we're, like, a lot more confident in our financial game, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like I like talking about it now, right? Because I went through those years of also seeing, like, what the bank can do to someone. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it can really, like, if they don't really teach you like they should.
And like, in all fairness, like, I guess it's not really the bank's responsibility.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
It's a game in a way, right?
Like because like what I learned from, like, working at the bank is just, like, all the amount of people that didn't know how money worked within their account.
Yeah.
Account fees, overdraft fees, ATM fees, transfer fees, paying, like, your credit card sometimes is a fee,
maintenance fees,
all that little things, like that's what's the most shocking to me. And, like, no matter what age group they were, no matter what how much money they had in their account, I could see everything, obviously, right? But, like, what was the most shocking to me is the fact that, like a lot of people just didn't know how stuff worked.
It's the one thing that bridged the gap between everybody. Money was a difference in aspect, but what they all had in common was maybe not knowing what's going on with their accounts, right?
Like, I saw this one, like, I think it was like a 18-year-old, 19-year-old who had, like, 23,000 in a saving account, like, you know what I mean?
That's good.
It is, but, like, just sitting in a saving account,
and,
like, and like, I'm asking him, like, me being, like, the person, not curious, but, like, also trying to, like, let's better your situation, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, have you ever heard of a TFSA? The guy's like, no, this and this. He didn't want to open it and stuff like that. Respectable. I'm not trying to open it, like, quickly like that. But my point is that, like, he was not saving that money for anything immediate.
Yeah.
He was like, probably in, like, 8-10 years, I'm probably going to use that for a down payment on a house. So I'm in no rush. Like, put that in an ETF, put that into something, make that grow, do something, like, tax-free saving account, RESP, or just a cash account. Like, and that's what kind of made me just, like, shocked about, like, people don't know this stuff, like, just simple stuff that, like,
man, I had a friend of mine, for example, like, he's really big in investing. What he told me is, like, man, if you have money just sitting in your account, you're checking your savings, like, you should really, like, reevaluate, like, do something with it, right? Like, at least make something, a percentage off something, right? Because, like, if you don't make your money work for you, then, like, you're just working for your money all the time, right? And, like, I don't think that's necessarily has to be like that, right?
Yeah.
You want your money working for you, and you can make a little more on the side by working for it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's the biggest step for a lot of people is maybe, like, just reevaluating, like, where you're at. Do you have a good budgeting plan, saving? Do you have money to save, right? I know a lot of people aren't even in a position to save, right? Because it's hard, man. So a lot of people have got themselves.
It's tough, honestly. Saving is tough. Like, especially when you think when you feel like there's no way out, and I say that from being someone who has been in that position where I felt like there's no way out. Obviously, Kingston, Queens, I even have a job down there and stuff like that. But, like, not ever learning about it, that's where it's, like, kind of uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like that's what's kind of just shocking, bro.
No, and I agree, man. Like, I think that's a problem right now, and I kind of want to see how in the next couple of years that gets shaped, right?
Yeah.
And, like, being a forefront leader in that, hopefully, right? Like, I want to be able to, like, if I can make a difference in one person's life by talking about it a little bit, I think that's probably the only move I want to do. Like,
leads to what we're doing in Capital City Crow, right? Like, we're trying to accelerate the rate of financial literacy within Canada, right?
Yeah.
So
start somewhere, right?
You gotta start from somewhere, and we believe, at least, it starts from the youth. Like, it starts from the young kids, right? Because, like, man, if you're 18 years old, you make the biggest decisions around that age. Think about that.
100%.
Go to college or university.
Yep.
You should get a car.
You usually get a big debt.
A big debt comes now.
Right? It could be a car, it could be a loan for school, it could be, who knows, right?
And 9 times out of 10, you don't know how to use it. Yeah. Or you don't even know what's, like, interest is.
What's attached to it. That's the scary part, I think, right? Like, that, you know what I think, too? Like, that credit card debt that no one really realizes, like, that 20%, right? Like, it may seem small on, like, let's say, $10, $20, right? But when you tack that 20% on, like, $1,000, it starts coming back for you really heavy, man.
And then you kind of just, like at that age, you're kind of numb to it.
Yeah, right.
Because you don't have no other responsibilities.
It's almost too late, right?
Yeah, you have no other responsibilities, and you know what I mean? Like, the world's still spinning.
Yeah, fact.
Right? So like you're not worried about, I guess, like what's going on in your bank
And you might
accounts.
be living at home with your mom and dad, right? Like,
but it's crazy because like if you started it like investing or being financially literate or putting a budget or putting money aside for school at that age, you change the whole trajectory of your life.
Oh, for sure.
And then that's the most shocking thing about it, is that like you can literally change like
just from
everything.
Just starting, right?
What
have you been doing to kind of like keep sane during this COVID period?
Yeah, honestly, bro, just I started from the beginning of this whole COVID thing, you know, just kind of, I guess, changed habits, you know.
Yeah. What's that one big habit you changed then? What's the big one? Like
the biggest habit I changed is my morning routine.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Just wake up in the morning, usually before 7:30 a.m. Just kind of, have you ever read the book The Morning Miracle?
I don't think
I have that book.
You have that book, eh? Anyways, great book. Have you read it?
I haven't read it all yet. No.
Okay, well, bro, read it.
I got you.
It's a big book. Anyways,
So what about it?
so yeah, basically, it just like this one guy. He like studies the most successful people
Okay.
out of all ranges, like athletes, business people, like any person. And then the habits that they have, he condenses it into one thing in the morning. He basically studies their mornings.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I get you.
And so then basically it consists of, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. Okay, so you wake up in the morning, you kind of,
was it meditation?
no, well, yeah, meditation and prayer.
Okay.
So I wake up, I pray, I do exercise. So it consists of, I usually just run on, like we have a treadmill.
Yep.
So I just run a kilometer there, and then you kind of just journal. You read for 10-15 minutes. After that, you kind of just visualize like the plans of your day, and then that's it. And it seems very simple, very like but like no, I've been doing that for like the last like 4 or 5 months, and like it literally changed everything. And like they say, it's a morning miracle, because like every time you wake up in the morning, you're kind of like, before I'd wake up and kind of be like, kind of just go brush my teeth, kind of get cheesed. There's a purpose, but it's more like I'm meeting a deadline and to start my day.
Yeah.
Take that in. Wake up in the morning, oh hello, you know, good morning world, and you already feel pressure, like you gotta go somewhere, do this and this and this and this, right? It's like, fuck, that's the worst way to start your morning.
Fact.
Right? So then like with this routine, you wake up super early, and then you're kind of waiting for shit to happen.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and like just like having like, I guess like that structure in the morning kind of helps me prepare for any day that comes my way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like they say, like the first thing a lot of people do when they wake up in the morning is they check their phone.
Yeah.
So automatically, what do? Maybe they stumble on a message or an email or like Instagram.
And it ruins it.
What if that Instagram says that some country just got bombed?
Yeah.
What if that morning message is get to work like 30 minutes before?
Yeah.
What if that email is like, yo, we need this urgently today?
Yeah.
Then you're just another robot. You
Yeah,
feel like that, right? So it's very interesting when you look at it like that. Like by setting yourself off good in the morning, it's like, okay, whatever comes my way, I've already completed like
everything personally, so
like,
I can take any other battle.
Hello, like what's going on today?
Yeah, I got you. That's a good one. That's a good one,
So yeah, that's, I guess that's a long answer to your question.
Yeah. Hey man, it was good though, right? Like it was like kind of honest, and that's what people need.
Yeah, bro. And honestly, it's just a lot, like you said, bro, earlier. It's just a lot of reading, a lot of just like, you're gonna want it. You know what I mean? Like I always say this. Like for me to actually stick to a budget, it took me years of budgeting.
Yeah. Figuring it out, doing it.
Budget.
Yeah. Nothing ever works.
Never follow it. Budget. Never follow it. Look on YouTube. Do it the old school way. Do it the envelope way. Do it the Excel way.
Snowball.
Don't do it. Don't, you know, like it's literally just back and forth. Eventually, it sticks.
Yeah.
And then it's weird when it sticks, because then like it's like you know you've wanted it. Your subconscious has wanted it so bad to the point where like you're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gonna stick one way or the other, right?
Okay.
So same thing with habits, same thing with like reading, same thing with like morning routines, and like us, bro, like going to the gym very consistent.
Let's go, bro.
Yeah. But honestly though, like it's you have to. It's always you versus you.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to battle yourself, and then you know.
We were talking about that. Like going to the gym was a big mental thing for us at the beginning, right? You gotta get to that point where it's like no longer a chore. Like you go because it's like a mental therapy. Yeah. And for us, it didn't take that long. It took us like about 2 weeks where I was like, let's go to the gym versus like, let's go to the gym. You know, there becomes like that moment where it's like, if I don't go to the gym, I don't feel right or something, right? And I'm at this point, I'm so in love with just like the building of growth, right? Like the building of my character, right? I want that just to be another part of like the routine you said. Like I do this, I read, I work out, then I do all my stuff I gotta do, right? So it's that personal growth in myself that I see that kind of makes me strive to be even better, you know?
Yeah, for real. And then like I feel like we're humans too, right? So at the end of the day, we are animals. So like you have a dog too, Chief. So like having them in a cage for so long, you just see the cooped up energy that they have. You know what I mean? What makes us think that we're different? Like, what makes us think that like we don't have to go and exert that energy somehow?
No, 100%. See, I'm lucky. My dog's never been caged.
But like in general, like, to each your own, right?
Yeah,
like some people prefer not to, some people prefer to cage. But my point is that like you have to release your energy.
Yep, somehow.
Like, right? Because then like if you're not releasing your energy, then all like emotion literally is energy in motion. That's like literally what it translates to. Emotion is energy in motion.
Okay.
So bro, if your energy is not in motion, you're just cooping that shit up, and then you just.
I didn't know that.
You're just barricading all that energy, like, and just
holding it within yourself.
Yeah, and you're not having no release. Maybe your release is something that's unhealthy, right? Like maybe your release is like expressing that energy through some other means, right? Yeah. A lot of unhealthy choices one could make, right? But my point is like exercise. I feel like it's that
number one. You need it.
Yeah.
Man. Like I feel so much better every day. Like I feel clear. Like I'm like, okay, I'm ready for this mission.
Yeah, and what I learned too is like in school is that like our bodies are made to exercise, right? There's a difference. If we didn't have all these systems in our body that would work efficiently when we do exercise, like sweat a lot, stuff like that, then
our lungs move so well.
Then we wouldn't be made for exercise, right? But we are made for exercise. So that means that we should exercise. We need to exercise because we can handle it, right?
Yeah.
Like for example, think about it. Humans would have never been successful if it wasn't for exercise.
Hunting, right? We were hunter-gatherers that would run the plains against animals.
You think Usain Bolt's quick, bro? I don't even want to know Neanderthals.
Yeah. 100%.
Yo, they're literally grabbing deer by hand. Maybe not, but like you get what I mean.
But yeah, it's like they had the ability too because they were built for it, right? Mm-hmm. We're little like as we go. Remember, like I feel like that's a little part of evolution, right? Remember how back in the day it used to be bronze over brains? Yeah. Right? You were bigger, so you could hurt the smarter guys, right? Now it's a lot different. These smarter guys have definitely taken over in that aspect. Yeah, for sure. And then the same thing that we're saying, it's like this all applies to like your personal situations, your relationships, and even financial literacy itself. Yeah. You have to just like if money is going to be something that we're going to have to deal with for the rest of our lives, why would you not want to understand how money works, how money moves? Just with this whole change thing that we're going to do, right? Like the big movement. What is do you have a fear in trying to do this or even trying to accomplish this goal? Like that's always
that's a good question.
Yeah, right. I like to bring things into like when I ask like even with like my business partner and my team, I always like to ask realistic questions. You know what I mean? Because like it kind of it gets people thinking, right? Cause,
for sure. And
it also like remember how we were talking about like measuring stuff? Mm-hmm. It kind of gives that like oomph to it, right? Because if you're like you're realistic with yourself and you measure it that way, goals are really achievable, man. Yeah,
for sure. And like I guess like at the other side of fear, it's exciting for me, right?
100%.
Like or it's either scary. Right? Yeah. So I feel like few people have a negative like association with fear itself. Okay. Where like this whole process, like quitting my job was fearful. Yeah. Moving to Ottawa was fearful. Yeah. Like even honestly getting Simba, I've never had a dog before, was like, you know, kind of challenging, kind of fearful. Like, okay, like I gotta learn about how to handle a dog now. Yeah. So if you ask me in regards to am I fearful, like yes, like growing and I guess trying to expand and do stuff you've never done or go out of your way or even try to accomplish like this goal that we all have, right? Yeah. It's like you feel kind of like a fly and there's a huge wall in front of you, but I'm not
if you look
fearful.
At it like that,
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm fearful. I'm more like excited.
Yeah, like it's a challenge. You love challenge.
It's a challenge. Yeah,
it's another sport in a way, right? Like trying to climb to the top.
Yeah, right? It's kind of fun, you know, figuring it out. And like for me, I'm more fearful if we don't do it.
Like for ourselves, or you're just for everybody?
In general, just for like for Canadians, because like if there's no one that cares about financial literacy or trying to help people open up tax-free saving accounts or even investment accounts or even budget, how much longer would it go, right? So ask me if I'm fearful. Yeah, I'm fearful in that regard. Right? What are 3 pieces of advice you have for people listening? Just any advice.
Just quick ones?
Could be business, could be life, you know, just any pieces of advice based on your experience.
Go on a walk. Get some fresh air. Start off there. Like just, you know, no matter what time of your day, just go out for like 5-10 minutes. Just go like get a breath of fresh air and like remove yourself from like this internet world we live in. Yeah. And just like remember that like, you know, there's more to life than just being stuck at home. That's like easy one, right? Like next, don't take things so seriously. You know, like no, and honestly, man.
Yeah.
Like I say it like with like just for people to kind of like understand like maybe someone's having a bad day and you don't know why and you may never know why and that's why they're rude to you that day, or maybe like, you know what I mean? So I think like that's a really good way to kind of like attack life, is not to take everything so personal. Yeah. Just because you never know what the opposite like side of that emotion's coming from.
Yeah.
So if you never take it personal, that way you don't ruin what's going on inside yourself.
Yeah.
Like that's another thing I say. And then lastly, read. It's all about reading, man. It's just, it helps. I think it was you I was talking to. Is like reading is being able to talk to the dead without them being around. You know what I mean?
Think about it.
All these greats have written amazing books, right?
And stuff, yeah.
When are you ever gonna be able to talk to them face to face like this? Ever? Never. But like at least you can get a perspective or a glimpse of their perspective at a certain moment when they wrote that book.
Yeah.
So like I feel like, why not be able to do that, right? Like as we move on, like these are the stories of like amazing people,
and even like
existing
business people.
Yeah,
too, right?
same thing.
It's like you said, you're not gonna stir up a conversation with them, so like you might as well read their book and get what their
mindset.
That way they can change your perspective. Yeah,
it's mine. Those are my three. So let's recap. It was read, go for a walk, and don't take things too serious.
Yeah, so that's all. So that's all we have for episode 3 of C.C.C Radio, and thanks for all of you who tuned in.
Yeah, thank you, and see you next time.
Yeah, take care, buddy.